Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode 356 and Doubleshot number 283. Okay, two DC books. First up, it's Batman Detective Comics, Volume 8, Blood of Heroes. There's like three different stories in here. The first few issues are written by Brian Rucciolito. Despite I think Francis Metapole gets a credit on here, he does not do the interior artwork at all. No, I think he does for like the opening issue. Yeah, he just does it for the sneak peek, but he kind of co-writes this for the first couple issues, and then Brian Bucciolo just finishes out the last couple issues. Simply put, the opening story arc in here is just okay. It's interesting. The artwork I think is great. The artist who does the artwork after Domenico leaves is one who does it for the entire story arc is Fernando Blanco. Yeah, his artwork is really good. Let's see if I can get to it here. Here we go. Yeah. This artwork is fantastic, and he's only the artist for the first, for pretty much, I would say most. Now, Francis Metapole does these. He still does the covers, which I think is great. The story itself is a bit it's okay for what it is. The one thing that I think for some people about this story arc, there's two characters pop up here. One, of course, is a character making her first post-Flash appearance, aka Brandon Montoya, who only appears for this story arc, and as far as I know, I don't think she returns for the rest of the Detective Comics for this particular run. She does appear in the current renumbering done by James Tynion. The other one is Joker's daughter, making her first appearance as Batman Eternal. As for how she still got the Joker's face, never explained. Because right after issues 42 to 44 of Detective Comics, she gets moved over to Scott Lobdell's Red Hood Arsenal, where she's pretty much a supporting character in the series for the rest of it, starting with the issue just came before the Robin War tie-in, and up until the final issue. Yes. Also, you get a chance to see what she kind of get kind of a good glance of what Joker's daughter looks like without the Joker's face sewn on. Yeah, the stitches have been removed somehow, never explained. And of course, Maggie's story does show up in here. I should point out though, the whole thing with Joker's daughter is still not been properly explained. I mean, yeah, you got her backstory in one shot. As for how she's still around, even though the Joker showed up, that itself is never explained. Also, Bat Josh pointed this out for the first issue, that he points this out when this issue came out, issue 41. There was an editorial error where in the Batman book, Harvey knew all along that Jim Gordon was Batman. As a matter of fact, he's the one who convinced him to put on the suit. And here, he doesn't really know. And he still wants to search for the real Batman, which is something that is never really brought up in Batman at all, because, well, Jim Gordon is Batman, so what? So yeah, Bullock has just seen this opening story arc, and after this, Bullock does show up for the last issue of this trade, but for the next couple issues, nope. I should point out that Brian Bucciolo, last issue he wrote was issue 44, start with issue 45 up until the final issue, issue 52, is done by the awesome Peter J. Tomasi. His first two issues I thought were a really good two-parter to start off with him just teaming up with the Justice League, and this is the Justice League of the DCU, the one where Superman is wearing t-shirt and jeans, everyone's wearing all the current attires, and this is by far the only time the Justice League actually are seen like this. Yeah, this is the only time they're ever seen. This is actually one of two times you've seen it under this particular lineup. Lex is not even in this book at all. The only other time you see this is in the pages of Superman and Wonder Woman. That's really it. Just investigating some dead monster, and Jim Gordon is briefly teamed up with him, which is nice. And the last issue, just a Robin War tie, which is part of the Robin War storyline. I think it's, if I remember correctly, which the main antagonist was the Court of Owls, by the way. Detective Comics 47 is the third part of the storyline. Excuse me. One thing kind of bad about this is that you have part one of a how many part storyline? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, it was a storyline that came on the course of this past December. I thought the storyline was really good. It's just kind of bad that they just threw just the comic issue, not the rest of the storyline. Heck, they even threw in the conclusion to this, which is a bit head-scratching they did that. Now, Gotham Academy, Teen Titans, and Red Hood Arsenal, those 3 issues were just tie-ins. Detective was part of the main storyline. So, the actual main parts, let's see. There's only about 6 parts to the storyline. Like part 1 is Robin 1 number 1, 2 is Grace number 15, 3 is Detective Comics 47, 4 is We Are Robin number 7, 5 is Robin's Head Batman number 7, and of course 6 is Robin War number 2. But okay, but overall, what about these overall 7 issues? The first 4, the 4 part is done by Brian Buccellato. It's a pretty decent story for what it is. It's a nice little cop drama. It's just kind of bad that Francis Manifold does not do the interiors of this 4-parter. He just does the covers. The first 2 issues Peter J. Tomasi does, I think they're pretty good issues. A bit underrated for his run for Detective. It was really short, his run. His run was only 8 issues. No joke. He comes out with issue 45, and his last issue is issue 52. No joke. That really is his run. And it's only 8 issues long. He never got a chance to do an annual. Francis Manifold by Richard Lloyd got a chance to do an annual. And yet, Peter J. Tomasi, a guy who did more than just a couple issues, he doesn't get a chance to do an annual. Tony S. Daniel did. During his 12-issue run, he did an annual. John Layman did an annual. And of course, Brian Buccellato did an annual. But yeah, Peter J. Tomasi apparently did not get time to do an annual. I don't know why. He did 3 annuals for Batman and Robin, and yet he couldn't do it for Detective. Okay. Currently, P.J. Tomasi is the writer of Super Sons and Superman. Both series are really good. I gotta say, his issues in here, his first 2 issues are actually pretty good. His Robin War issue is actually good as well. It's just that it's a bit jarring to get a 3rd part to a 6-part storyline in a trade like this. Excuse me. But overall, I'm going to get this a 8.5 out of 10. Only because of the jarring ending to this thing. But the artwork in here is still really good. Alright. Next up is Suicide Squad Volume 1. The Black Bolt. Containing the rebirth issue of Suicide Squad and the first 4 issues of Volume 5. Now the writer of this, now this is basically the rebirth stuff. This is my second thing I've done for rebirth. I reviewed Rebirth Trade. The first one I did was Action Comics, so it's not surprising I do Suicide Squad next, because I have reviewed trades of Suicide Squad before, so why not do it for the current volume? Even though I have finished reviewing stuff on the new Suicide Squad series. The trade. I've only reviewed the first trade and reviewed the second, third one yet. Now, simply put, this is the lineup for this point of these issues. It's Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, Killer Croc, Enchantress, along with a few people joining the group, Rick Flag, Katana, and Hack. Hack is a brand new character created just for this series. Katana, the only reason why she's on the roster is because she's part of the roster in the movie, and Rick Flag, this is his first post-Flashpoint appearance. Oh, and Amanda Waller's in here, and she's put on weight. Yeah, she's fat again. No explanation, she's fat. And one thing I gotta point out though, and I'm surprised no one pointed this out during for the reviews of the Suicide Squad Rebirth issue, it kind of feels like the issue from Secret Origins Um, I think it was issue 14, the one that served as the prelude for the Suicide Squad ongoing series, now by John Ostrander, where it's a similar story, um, where they mentioned basically of how Waller is justifying the existence of Suicide Squad to the president. Though at that point was Ronald Reagan. This time it's Barack Obama. I mean, it's like Rob Williams took that issue. Pretty much, it's the same style, except it's just Obama, not just Reagan and some advisor. This one is just Obama. Fine, perfectly fine indeed. It's a similar story structure. Just basically, Amanda Waller justifying the Suicide Squad's existence and recruiting Rick Flag. That's really the whole point of it. And of course, she does recruit Rick Flag, and apparently the whole time he's doing the whole thing with Suicide Squad, apparently he's been kept in Guantanamo Bay for some reason. I have no idea why. Yeah. Now, the artist for all 4 of these issues is Jim Lee. I believe he does the Rebirth issue as well. Let me check that. No, Philip Tan is the artist for that, but he also does one of the backup stories as well. There's actually profile stories for Suicide Squad members. There's like 4 of them. There's one for Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Katana, and Captain Boomerang. That's it. The Harley Quinn one, that's done by Gary Frank, awesome artist. There's no new one for Rick Flag, as I kind of gave one to Rebirth issue. Deadshot, I believe that's done by Ivan Reyes. Let me check that just to be sure who does these flashback stories. Let's see. Jason Fabok does the Deadshot issue. Okay. Which he teams up with Batman, which is nice, the fact they threw that in, the fact that they knew each other. Yep. The Captain Boomerang issue, that's done by the awesome Ivan Reyes. Oh, and one thing I love about this issue, he's wearing the classic costume. Yeah, so that means this continuity at some point, I mean, not only has he fought the Flash, he's also wearing the classic costume. This here, even though, yeah, this costume is considered kind of silly nowadays, but this is the classic Captain Boomerang costume. The costume he wore ever since the late 50s. It's nice the fact they threw it. I gotta praise Ivan Reyes for putting him for showing the flashback and having him wearing this costume. It's nice the fact they did that. Yeah. Let's see. For the Katana story, that's done by Philip Tan. Now this one, even though it's kind of like a retelling of her origin story, it's a retcon, because the first time I told her origin story, there's no mention of her kids, just the fact that apparently she killed her husband, where apparently her husband was killed by her brother-in-law, and there's no mention of her kids. With this story, I guess Rob Williams didn't like that particular one, so he decided to retcon it, and pretty much just, how should I put this? They pretty much gave a reason of, well, for one thing, they gave a reason why she's done the suicide, because her sword told her so, and she's still wearing the attire that she's known for wearing in the current continuity, except they did make one change, and I'm kind of glad they did this. She doesn't have the gray makeup that was on her face constantly. Anybody who's ever read the Katana's ongoing series, she had this gray stuff on her face. As far as I've heard, I asked somebody about this, of why she's got this on her face. Apparently it's not the fact she changed her skin color, it's just makeup she wears. And here she stops wearing, which I'm quite nice, but also her sword is still called the Soul Taker. Yeah. Now the last story is done by Ivan Reyes. You gotta love his artwork, and I believe, this is the last one. Now, after the Black Vault story itself, it's just the Suicide Squad going through space and then landing in China. Of course, the Rebirth one shot basically kind of sets up basically Rick Flag on his first mission with the Suicide Squad, and they go to this Black Vault, which apparently has his own Phantom Zone projector for some reason. And who opts out in issue 3. Of all people, I'm like surprised. First, you have Captain Boomerang getting killed by heat vision. Now you're thinking, is it Superman? Nope. Superman doesn't kill. Not in this continuity. Especially after pre-Flash by Superman. It's actually General Zod. Now, when I read this for the first time, I'm like, General Zod being the Phantom Zone. This really makes no sense. Because the last time I saw him, which was in the conclusion of the first arc for Superman and Wonder Woman, him and Fiora, his lover, the one who's drawn like the actress who played her in Man of Steel, they disappeared. They ran away. Somehow General Zod got back in the Phantom Zone for some reason. I have no idea why. Also, for some reason, I have no idea why they did this for. They apparently gave him, let's see if I can find it here, a good picture of him. Let's see. Oh, and by the way, his first words are "Kneel before Zod." Yeah, that's great. Well, his attire, well, it's the attire he was wearing the last time he was seen in the comics. As for what he was doing back in the Phantom Zone, that's never explained. At all. Nope. Yeah, that's the thing about it. Okay, oh, and by the way, after the storyline, General Zod basically he's unconscious for a while. And he remains unconscious. Okay. He remains unconscious. I hope I didn't wake him up. My nephew's sleeping. Okay. He remains unconscious. Though there was one story that came after this where he kind of was waking up, but he got back to sleep. Now apparently he's going to be leading the Suicide Squad for some reason. I have no idea why, but yeah, this is a good opening story arc, and I get this a 9 out of 10. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is episode 357, Doubleshot number 284. Okay, until then, I will see you there. Bye.